hear me. I think I just got to fix. There we go. Sorry about that. Welcome on, everybody. Thank you guys for joining, and welcome into another night here on Northwoods TCG. All right, we're going to start it off this year with a happy New Year's, and thank you everybody for all of your support throughout the last year. And of course, we are starting off brand new right here, right now, with a new year. So today, a couple things. We're gonna get personal with Pokemon Life. I think this is following. I listen to PK's live as I always do. I think I got it figured out, Hideous. Let me know if it's thank you so much for joining as well. Pretty sure it's working now. There we go. Yep. I thought it was working, but yeah, thank you for letting me know because I kind of was watching it. And I've gotten in a habit now of trying to make sure on the lives I check to make sure it's working. So thank you. And once again, anybody that, of course, watching PK, I think that he did a really interesting live the other day, and I think when I listened to it, kind of made me realize that for a lot of people, they don't know the history of some of us on YouTube in general. I think the thing is that a lot of us has been talking for years. For example, I've been on YouTube now since what was it? My first video was like February 27th of 2021. So I've been on YouTube now for 4 years, and I had been collecting Pokemon since like May of 2019. So I have been in Pokemon now for just about 6 years, which is crazy to think that it's been that long that we've been inside the hobby, and time flies when you're having fun. And yeah, overall, I'm getting to a point again where I've almost been in the hobby longer than I've been out of the hobby. So it's getting to the point where it's kind of going the other way again. So 2019, back in the hobby, I was only in it from like 1999 to 2006, and then I took a hiatus all the way up until 1999 or 2019, and then I kind of carried on. But PK's video is really interesting. It got a little personal. I know that he's probably running a lot of questions right now. Sounds like he's trying to make the decision on whether or not he wants to go full time, which is awesome if he can. That's fabulous. Sounds like he's getting to the point where he's actually losing more money going to work, which is always a real difficult bind to be in. But there is the benefits of working and knowing you got a consistent paycheck as well. So I've been in his shoes. I understand where he's at. It's a very difficult decision to make that. I've done that twice in my life now, and so I can tell you that so far it's worked both good, bad one way, good one way. So I mean that's just the way it goes when you're taking that kind of risk. So if PK is watching this, I know it's a tough decision. I understand where you're at in your life when it comes down to that, and once again, I hope that you can work that out and get some good advice from family, because I do agree family is a very good source to be able to talk about that. But I also found it as a good opportunity when he broke down his whole history of who he was and where he comes from. I think sometimes we become unrelatable in a way, and I don't like that because all you see is the YouTube personality that talks about Pokemon. And the fact of the matter is that Pokemon is a part of our lives. It's not necessarily all of our lives. There are full-time people such as Dan at Catch 'em All Collectibles. Of course, he's full-time. You got Rusty at TCA Game. You got a lot of people that are full-time. Nick at Old School Pokemon. There's all of these individuals that are full time, and this is what their career is. But there's a lot of us on YouTube that this isn't our full time career. This isn't what we always do day in and day out, and this isn't always been the story of our lives and how we've been successful in our lives. And so on this live, I'm gonna do a little bit different. It might be a little bit longer. I told my wife I could go longer and overtime because there's some things I need to talk about as well. But I also want to go back and talk about life with Pokemon, who I am, what I've done. I thought that it was a really good layout that our PK did, and it really sparked me to want to do this type of video. And I've done brief snippets of what I've done, but I really want to go a little bit further, like he did, and really get down into the nitty gritty and stuff. So, um, I'm going to start off with just acknowledging in chat. Hi FOMO, thank you so much. Garen M, thank you so much for joining in, and hi FOMO, waving back, thank you so much, and Hiatus, thank you so much for being in here as well. I see there's a few other viewers, so as you guys are coming in and working through, make sure you guys hit that like button too. It does help out the stream quite a bit to do so, and it's greatly appreciated as we move forward. So, and before we go even into that, I want to kind of talk about some goals here for 2025, what we're looking at on the channel, and how we want to continue to move forward. TikTok up in the air, of course. We don't know if we'll be continuing to stream on TikTok. I kind of want your guys' opinion on this too as well. What do you guys feel? Because there are a lot of offers right now for Whatnot, and I'm looking for a potential new streaming venue. Whatnot has got some deals right now for new streamers. Also, eBay isn't looking like something that I'll be capable of doing. I don't meet the requirements based on the volume that I'm looking at to be able to get in on that. Twitch is the other option that I've been kind of looking at for the streaming platform. It might give the availability to be able to be on there as well. And so I'm just kind of asking you guys, do you think that Whatnot is a reasonable thing now? I mean, I haven't been hearing all the scams and the issues with it, but the other part is too is that I've got a bad taste in my mouth about it, and I'm kind of asking you guys what you feel about it in general. If it's something that you would pursue, if you think that it's viable still, do you think it's something that you should stay away from because it's just scummy in general? I kind of want your guys' opinion on that, not just people in the live, but also moving forward. As for YouTube, I want to continue to do at least one video per week. The goal is to try and do one video per week. So this year, I want to try and do at least 50 videos. I'm shooting for 52 and also do 52 lives. So last year, I did a total of 49 lives. I missed 3 lives last year. I want to get the full 52. So that's the goal for this year, is to try and do a full 52 lives. It may not always be on Tuesday, but in general, I want to do one live per week to maintain the working with you guys and being sure that I'm available to have discussions on a weekly basis as things change in the hobby and as things move forward. So that's kind of the goals, and happy 2025 to everybody that's out there as well. So that's kind of the goals that we're looking at for 2025 here on YouTube, is maintain videos, continue to work with not just the investment side of things, but working with the business side of things. Also kind of going into in depth in like the Pokemon hobby in itself. And that is kind of where I am kind of shooting for this year on the videos, and they're kind of moving between Thursday, Friday. Sometimes I might throw them in periodically between a week. YouTube's working with that algorithm a little bit to show you where the best days during the month are really to put your videos. So I might play with that as well. Keep the lives consistent, but the videos may fluctuate based on where they're going to go. And so that's where we might see that change and that movement sometimes in it. So I know typically in the past the algorithm liked consistent dates, times, and locations. But now YouTube on the backside and the algorithm is really kind of changing that fundamentals, and it seems like they're trying to push certain days or shifting your audience and kind of shifting what you post on those days. So that's kind of the goal, is to try and play with that, to try and really work on the channel and be more present here, along with pushing TikTok past January 19th. We don't know. As of right now, June 10th, we're kind of all on pins and needles on TikTok right now for the business aspect on the strip or the rip and ship side to really know if we're going to have a viable business there in TikTok. Is TikTok going to change into Lemonade, because ByteDance created Lemonade now, and a lot of people are speculating that if they go and force TikTok to close down, they're just going to change all their servers over to Lemonade and everything's just going to switch over. So it'd be really interesting to see if that works, because the law is so specific to TikTok that they could literally use their same company and name a new company and just roll into it and close down. So they'll shut TikTok down, and probably within an hour or maybe even minutes, they'll be switching over to a new server. So it's really going to be interesting to see what happens on the 10th here, because the Supreme Court's supposed to make a ruling. I know that there's been some push from the president incoming that it will be pushed. So just so you know, on the TikTok side, it's still up in the air on that. I just see the comment down below. I personally feel Whatnot is tainted already. I personally prefer to stay away from that platform, and that's kind of what my feelings have been to date. But the other problem is too is it sucks, because TikTok has been a very, very good platform to build a business on, and has had very good success rates for myself. Anyways, I've had really good success rates on there. And then Richard just put on here just my opinion, but I have a bad view on Whatnot. So many scammers, and Whatnot hasn't had the best history of making right on customers who got scammed on big hits. I avoid it personally, and I do agree. See, that's the thing is that on one hand, I sit there and know that it's got the image of being tainted in that part of it, but the other part is too is that I know personally I wouldn't do that. And so on the other hand, you know, maybe getting some good view and good individuals in there might be good for the platform to show. I understand it feels tainted and it feels dirty for me to even talk about it. But as a business on the rip and ship side, I definitely almost need to look into different avenues, and maybe there'll be some other avenues that I'll be working on as well. I'm going to be making some conversations here. If it shuts down, if TikTok shuts down on the 19th, realistically, it's not going to make a big difference in my life in general. It's just going to be an inconvenience to try and relocate and reestablish someplace else that for that end of the business. The other part of the business is the other part of it that I've been looking at is just looking at selling sealed product. I mean, that's the other factor as well that might be get away from their rip and chips and go into just selling sealed products. So, like I said, it's just what you it just looks like it's just going to be kind of laying out how that's going to lay out. So 2025 is really going to be interesting on that factor to find out where we're going to go, how we're going to adjust, and where we're going to adjust to, and what platforms are going to become available and have the capacity to handle. Because I know I'm not the only streamer that's going to run into this issue. There are thousands of streamers that are going to be looking for an avenue to go to and really make a difference. Tactical Piece just said, Whatnot is like Craigslist to me. Can you find deals? Sure, but scams and unpleasant people kill it for me. And that's just it. But on the other hand, if you did know, just like me, I know that there's some bad sites, even Twitch or other places, even other places I've been on platforms for streaming. It definitely has their bad people, and you just stay away from them. So I mean, if you know a certain person that I enjoy that does really well, is streaming, then I tend to go straight for that person on the time frames that they're on. So there again, you can really work inside of a bad platform. It just, you're right. It does feel, like I said, it feels dirty. I'm throwing it out there because I've always said never, 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 just because of the way that they are. But when you're sitting there looking at the business aspect of things, sometimes never is not truly and never an option. Sometimes you need to do what's best for the business side of things. So I really don't want to do it. I don't want to go there. But I'm just hoping that TikTok will correct itself and we'll be good to go. And things will just keep going over there, and I'll stay busy on TikTok with the sales and rip and chip side. But such is life. We'll find out. Things always throw a curveball in business, and sometimes you just got to adjust the best you can. Maybe Whatnot's a short-term fix until something else comes around. I mean, that could be the option too. Kick there for a while, take the opportunities on the discounts, get the 6 months, reduce fees on there, and take the opportunity to grow a little bit and put some money in your pocket to be able to switch over to the next streaming service that comes. Could just be that bridge. You could be looking just for that bridge item as well to get ahead and keep moving. And that's sometimes just the things you got to look at too, is just finding that bridge. MC, does anyone have any good consignment options for modern sealed Pokemon? Thinking fantastic stop doing sealed Pokemon for now. Yeah, and I don't. Like I said, Dan has always done the. I'm going to give him another little plug. Dan has always done a great consignment service for graded. About sealed Pokemon, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know a good consignment service right now. Graded and raw cards. Dan's been very good at that, but I don't know if he does much with seal. Maybe check with Dan. Maybe he does sealed. I don't know if he does or not for sure. If you do Whatnot at the beginning and the end of the streams, warn viewers. Yeah, there we go. Warn them about the dangers of TikTok. And I don't know if you could. I don't know. I'll see where it goes. I mean, if it gets shut down and it takes me a couple weeks to figure out where I'm going, if I even go anywhere, maybe I'll just go straight to the seal. Stay selling on TCG Player and sealed product, and just keep moving that direction as well. I hate the high fees, and TikTok isn't much better for fees. That's what I'm saying. It would almost be like that bridge, hoping to find something better in the long run, or try and get it to the point where maybe you do Instagram Live or do YouTube. Come back to YouTube, but sell packs through another thing. So yeah, and that's just it. I mean, it's hard. You're really looking for that bridge item, maybe looking for that deal to get started, and looking for that jump ahead point to get you to the where you want to go. Like I said, TikTok, I've had sales reps try and get it, talk to me about it, and give deals where they're going to do lower percentage rates. Like I said, I don't want to pay the 15. It ends up being almost 15% through TCG Player. If you go through Tick or Whatnot right now, it's still going to be about 11%. So, but they cover the shipping. So there is that as well, or they do reduce shipping or something, is what the one guy said for TCG sales. It's all through them. So a little bit easier on that part, but once again, it could be that bridge item, and that might be what we're looking at more. What I might be looking at more when it comes down to the business side is looking for that bridge. So we'll be seeing. I'm just hoping that everything gets straightened out and we don't have to worry about it anyways. That's kind of the hopes right now, and that we just move forward. So like I said, it's kind of my little rant when it comes down to the business and what my goals are for 2025. Be here 52 times next year is definitely going to be the number one goal. Trying to stay focused, trying to stay on here 52 times. So 52 weeks next year, 52 lives next week or next year. And then moving on to, at least my goal is 50 videos, but at least 50. I want to try and do 52 videos as well. So they may not be, it might be two one week and maybe none one another week. But in general, I want to do at least 52 videos. My goal is to try and do more than 52, but for sure, the bare minimum goal is 52. I would love to do probably closer to 70 or 80 videos and just sporadically throw them in all over the place, kind of play with that YouTube algorithm too to try and place things and then move at that point as well and move forward on that point as well. Just kind of work with the algorithm and see what we can do on that as well. Try to build the channel a little bit. It's been moving up steady again, and I've been consistent in posting videos again. It really has helped. I would love to see those 2, 3, 4, 10,000 view videos again, but me not being on here as much has definitely slowed that down as well. So there's only so many hours in a day, and that's just where we kind of sit. You can only spend so many hours on your hobby before you got to go do real life, and that's the catch. So, yeah, once again, so that's kind of the goals for 2025. I mean, let me know in the comments below, or let me know in the live chat. What are your guys' goals for 2025? Do you have anything set in place? Still trying to figure out financially if I hit my financial goals. We'll know that here probably within the next couple weeks. I gotta get my taxes done and get all of my receipts together and find out where we were. I know this year my goal was to try and have a total of about $80,000 in sales, and I'm pretty sure I surpassed that by quite a bit. So I'm not really concerned about that goal this year. The real question is where do things shift? I know TikTok took a big chunk of it again this year. TCG Players was doing well until friggin' Binder POS became stupid. So when Binder POS became stupid, it kind of slowed down the bulk sales as well with the sorting and all that end of things. So usually TCG Player was a good chunk of it, and I think it's going to be down quite a bit because even going into August and September there, where sometimes you get a little bit of a run of new players, I wasn't online with that. So yeah, I'll have the breakdown of that coming up on a video here in the near future as well. Breakdown of numbers on the business side on what was successful, where we were seeing the most gains, profitability, and then of course I always try and break down like last year which section had the most revenue coming in, whether it was TikTok, whether it was eBay with graded cards and high end singles, whether it was TCG Player and the bulk sales, which percentage and how much of that percentage was made up in the business, just so you guys have an idea on where the best moving and the most successful areas were for myself. And that way it kind of gives you a benchmarker if you're interested to see where there are opportunities in this hobby. Once again, I always like showing you guys the opportunities and the directions that you could go. I think it's really important for you guys to know that and see that, and that way you can do the best options for yourself when it comes down to the hobby and how you can be successful. Technical Piece, keep up the good work, man. Your streams are part of the reason I bought a decent sized LO position a while back. Well, that's great because I'm really, really happy with the performance of all the Sword and Shield sets, and I think that they are going to continue to see success. I don't think that just because you didn't buy in then, granted it was a better price then, I don't think that you're out of the game yet for most of these sets. I still think that there's some really good opportunities in them. Some of the sets I think you're going to start seeing that little staggering slowdown. Are they going to continue to double? Are they going to go up by 20 to 30% every month? Not likely, but I think that we're going to still see consistent gains on Sword and Shield. It really is feeling like Sun and Moon, and I think that we could see quite a few of these Sword and Shield sets starting to surpass even some of the older Sun and Moon sets. Even though they've got some age on them, I think that Sword and Shield has a little bit more, I want to say, people friendliness. They got a lot of more people interested into these Sword and Shield sets, even though it was printed a lot more. And there is a lot more of that product out in the world. I still think that it could potentially outperform, especially in the next year or two, outperform a lot of the Sun and Moon sets when it comes down to value. Just because there's a lot more people that are interested in Sword and Shield. There's a lot more people in that community and a lot of growth in that era in the Pokemon TCG. So I do see it doing really well. Scarlet and Violet still doing fantastic as well now. Like a product is really creating that vacuum that's creating a really good gain on your investments. Now, whether or not we're going to get reprints and it'll be washed is yet to be seen, because we should be getting announcements for reprints of like Base Set, Palea Evolved, of Obsidian Flame, and Paradox Rift all in the next 6 months, because they are coming up on the 2-year mark already, which is because March will be the 1-year mark of or 2-year mark of Scarlet and Violet being released, which is typically in Sun and Moon and Sword and Shield. That was kind of the time frame when we'd be seeing reprints, like that last hurrah reprint of each one of these. So there might be an opportunity to jump in on like Paldea Evolved at a really, really good price when they do a reprint. And potentially maybe that Magikarp will be better too, which makes it so you might be able to get PSA 10 easier, but also may damage that PSA 10 market as well, which is something to be watching. Now, not saying it's going to happen. It's all, who knows? I mean, the print runs have just been absolutely, atrocious right now when it comes down to Pokemon products. So yeah, definitely going to be really interesting. It's going to be interesting to see if these reprints do come through and where we end up on that. I'm really hoping that we do see some reprints on that, but I also don't think that it's going to necessarily be large reprints. I think that we're going to see some good low to moderate reprints if they do happen at all. So yeah, kind of cool, kind of interesting to see how this is going to play out for Scarlet and Violet, because if it doesn't get reprints, it could be really, really interesting to see how quickly Scarlet and Violet sets might start catching up to Sword and Shield, even though it took a long time for them to get legs and for them to get traction to start building. But once they started going, boy, they started going quick. So that's a really, really interesting thing to be watching here in the next few months for sure. Basically, if we don't hear any reprints of like Paldea Evolved or Obsidian Flame or any of these, because Scarlet and Violet base set still has product available. There's still booster boxes, or there was still booster boxes available last week. So as long as that's still available, I wouldn't see them doing a reprint on that. But Paldea Evolved, Obsidian Flame, Paradox Rift, I mean everything past Scarlet and Violet base set, there's no booster boxes. There's barely anything available for any of them. So reprints are definitely in the cards. I just don't know if it's going to happen or not currently with the way that they're operating. But yeah, other than that, like I said, I did watch PK's live, and it really did spur me into sitting down and thinking that a lot of times, been 4 years. I know I did an introduction video at like year 1 where I kind of went into my background. I know sporadically I throw in things of my background. Of course, a lot of you guys know that I'm an HVAC technician, but and that I own that business now, and that's a big interesting part that a lot of people do know. I mean, I've been pretty open about that throughout the years. But the one thing is that you sit there and look at the history of a person, and PK had a really, really interesting story. And when you sit there and think about it, you sit there, and as you get older, I'm getting closer to 40. I'll be 39 here in a few months, and it's like you're getting closer to that 40-year mark, and it's like you start looking back at the things and the accomplishments that you've done in your life. And do I see a potential for full-time Pokemon in my future? Yeah, I can see definitely some full-time opportunities. Do I feel like sometimes I'm leaving a lot of money on the table and a lot of opportunity on the table because I don't go full-time in Pokemon? Yes, I think I see clear paths to where I can make plenty of money in Pokemon. That, and I do the 3D printing on the side too, and that's been another big chunk of income here. My wife helps with that, so that's been growing a little bit too. So there's definitely multiple avenues that I could switch out of doing, a HVAC job and go into doing those two things, and I could probably make a very, very good living off of it as well. Um, am I losing enough to where I probably might lose my paycheck, or be able to make up my paycheck? Am I making enough in Pokemon to do so? I am probably currently making more in Pokemon than I am on my business, but there's also reasons for that as well. So it's a little deceiving sometimes when you're looking at business, how that operates, especially when you own the business. It kind of changes the structure on what income really is when it comes down to that part of things. So basically, I'm gonna start back, and I'm not gonna go like all the way back to I was born at this date in this location. I think that's ridiculous, but I think that the one place I'm gonna start off is just kind of where my history was when it came down to starting in Pokemon, starting in TCGs in general, and then just kind of move forward. Kind of lay out where I've had success, where things have gone wrong. And I mean, some of it's been public. I don't hide things. I don't regret things. And I've talked about that before, is that if I sell something, there isn't regret on anything. So a lot of people say, do you regret selling, like 5 cases of Evolving Skies at $200 a piece? Well, no, I don't regret it because it was a calculated move at that point in time. Did I think it would go higher? Yeah. But did I want to sit there and get the money back out of it? Yes. So there's that situation as well. So looking at regret, as it goes for regrets, I don't really believe in regrets in a way. I always believe that there's learning experiences and you can move forward. And if you sit there and try and make regrets, you're gonna always have a very negative personality, especially in a hobby or in life in general. So I just don't do it. There's just no point. There's no point in sitting there and regretting something. And when you can just get going and move again, there's nothing going to stop you futuristically from or hold you back if you want to do something or move forward. And I can tell you that from experience. Um, so I'll go back to 96, 90 around 1997. I kind of look back because I actually asked mom about this because I was kind of curious. She used to take me to tournaments and do things like that. Hey, Pika Pika, Happy New Year to you as well, my friend. So going off of sparking on this, going back to 97, it was like the end of 96, 97. I started actually playing Magic the Gathering, and I was about 12 years old at that point, or 9 years old, 10 years old at that point in time. Started playing at that point, and really got into Magic Gathering. And I started building decks, and I was having fun with that. That was kind of where my start was in TCGs. So played Magic the Gathering, had a good group of friends we had a lot of fun, kind of traveled around, did some things, went to other LCSs in the area. Grew up in a community where we had a really in high school or in grade school and high school where we had a local card shop. He was a sports card shop, but he really did see the value in TCGs, which is really, really big that you don't hear from a lot of people in the hobby, or a lot of times when these small communities, you didn't have people that were progressive in TCGs. They were just kind of stuck in sports cards because sports cards were gods at that point, even then, and that's all that they did. You were supposed to be a sports card guy. But there was an older gentleman, probably at that time, he was like 60, probably in his early 60s, mid 60s, that had a sports card shop in town. And he was progressive. He actually had Magic the Gathering. He had, started bringing in other TCGs as they became available to try them out to see if they would take popularity. Of course, Magic was taking off fairly decent at that point in time, really doing well. We had some really fun times playing tournaments in town. I was working, going to school, playing sports, and also when I got in high school, we did Magic Gathering. So when I was 12 years old, Pokemon came out right at the end of 1998, early 1999 there. So then we started playing Pokemon. A couple of our friends just went, let's start trying playing Pokemon. We started playing it. We enjoyed it. We started liking to play the tournaments, doing decks, building decks, going through that part of things. This whole time, of course, doing sports, getting ready, was doing football. Football was available for us in sixth or seventh, eighth grade. Started in sixth, you could start doing flag football, but seventh and eighth, we started having tackle football. So I was doing more sports. So I was a full plate. I was doing sports, really big in baseball at that point in time as well. Really, really focusing on baseball and football while doing TCGs with my friends. So I kind of grew into a group of where I fall into a lot of different areas of popularity. I'm pretty well versed when it comes down to talking to people and getting in with people. I can really mesh with a lot of different individuals. I can mesh with, even in high school, in grade school, I'd mesh with the jocks and the people who like sports. I also meshed with the nerds because I did like TCGs and I like video games. And then I also meshed with the mechanical side because I grew up in a mechanical family. So I liked rebuilding engines. I liked tearing cars apart. We built demo cars. We did all these kind of things. So there was always stuff that was going on. I've always been busy. Plus, I do have ADHD. I've just learned to harness it into something a little bit more useful than nothingness. So I hyper focus on things. I get a lot of things done. Sometimes I get nothing done. Sometimes you look around me and I've got so many projects going at once that nothing's actually getting complete. And then, thank goodness for my wife now, because she usually slaps me in the head and tells me I got to get something going and start focusing on something again. And that's how I kind of keep moving through life. Is just I keep doing a ton of projects. I've been like that through high school. Through high school, I continually did projects. I was in multiple clubs. I was in multiple events. I was in TCGs. I was playing Pokemon, getting the pewter gym badges, and doing Magic the Gathering with friends one day, and then do a Pokemon tournament in the afternoon. So we do Magic Gathering in the morning and do Pokemon in the afternoon. Usually Sam Goody had a tournament every single week, and it was really, really, really busy. And I've always been busy. I'm a very busy individual. I have always ran on like 3 to 4 hours of sleep. That's just what I need. And as long as I can get 3 good hours of sleep, I'm ready to go. Next day is just another day. So that's why I can usually do a lot of things, is because I'm usually just awake a ton and always busy doing some things. So all through high school, did football. We all went to state for football, or not state, went sectionals twice for football. We had a really strong team for the team, so it was really focused on football then. And through high school, my freshman through senior year, it was like football 365, and you were just in the gym. We were weightlifting, we were practicing, we were doing all of the calisthenics and everything for football. We were doing baseball in the summer just to push ourselves and keep active and keep moving, keep flexibility in the baseball side of things while going back to football. So we were building in bigger, faster, stronger. We were building speed, we were building endurance, and we were building cardio and strength. So we were really, our football program was really, really good where we were at. And so basically focused on football all through high school, working a job with my dad, doing HVAC work. I've done HVAC work since my dad owned the business before me. He built it up all the way up through and then doing HVAC. So I'm really versed in HVAC as well, just because that's what I've done since I was about 8, 9 years old as well. So like I said, been a long time working in the field and going through that. So in college, graduated in 2004, moved into going into my college years. I went to HVAC, of course, for college first 2 years. Pretty much just did it because I was sloughing off. Not gonna lie, just needed some of the like my refrigeration licensing, needed some of the gas licensing. Just wanted the degree to say that I got the degree, so that way I could have an associate's degree on the table and say that I'm college educated. Really didn't need any of it. I could have gone right from high school into a full-fledged HVAC career. I would have probably had to go to school to get my or done online. Back then it was even online. You could do your testing and you could really, really grow into the hobby or into the work really quickly. But the other thing that happened, of course, if everybody is, I don't know where you are for age groups, but I'm, of course, an early millennial. And, of course, I ran smack dab into first, I ran through the recession in 2004 through 2006. So we were in that situation where the economy was kind of slow. And I got done with school, and dad's like, well, there's no point in you coming back to work. You might as well go back to school for something else. Because he said, we had enough money in the account for you to do 2 years of schooling, and you barely used any of the money anyways, because I got all this grants and a lot of stuff was just, there was opportunities for scholarships and stuff that I was able to get and push through. So then I went for machine tooling. So, and then of course, when I got done with machine tooling, it was 2008. And if everybody remembers what happened in 2008, we ran smack dab into the housing crisis, which then caused another massive recession in the economy. So I ended up staying machining because there were more opportunities in the machining market than there were in house building and in homes. A lot of people couldn't afford equipment. So same thing. There was opportunities in machining, and HVAC was kind of dead at that point in time. So it just made more sense to stay there. So I then went and was a machinist from 2008, 2007, end of 2007, I started working at a place, and then 2008 all the way until 2016, I went for and was a full-fledged mold maker. So I made injection mold, vacuum molding systems. Magpul was one of the big customers that we made molds for. So a lot of the magazines, it's AR parts, that kind of stuff, pew pew parts. Were made a lot through the company that I worked at. So we created a lot of their prototype stuff as well. A lot of the stuff during the 2011, 2012 boom of that was also created while we were there, while still working as a machinist for a mold making company. Um, I ended up starting my own business in there. So my wife and I decided that we started our own business, started making small parts, started making certain pew pew parts in the garage, got all my certifications for that. So I was a machinist for quite a long time, doing both working for a company and also working for myself, and built a fairly decent business from 2013 until about 2015. We had a really, really good, successful business. It was growing really well. Um, Overall, expanding. I had 4 employees at that point. We were running 24 hours, 2 guys in the day, two guys at night, shut down for like 4 hours in a night, and really pushing through. And I was a business owner at that point in time. It was a lot of stress. I mean, there's a lot of stress when you did that. And then in 2014, I quit my job at the mold making company I was at and went strictly on my own. And it went really well. Like I said, had guys working for me already, even though I was working for another company. So I was working 10 hours for a mold making company, and then I would come home and I'd run another 10 hours on the machining side. And then, like I said, I only need 4 hours of sleep. So I'd go to sleep for 4 hours, and then I'd go back and do the same circle again, push through the weekend. So it was a lot of stress, a lot of work, a lot of hours put in through that time frame. And then I did a video about this, just something that happens sometimes in business. And we talk about, I always hate the stigma that goes with the word bankruptcy. And I've talked about that on here before, and I've been open about it. I've been open to other people about it and how this works out is that not all bankruptcies are necessarily 100% your fault. I know a lot of people like to always put that word bankruptcy on someone when it comes down to business, that you messed up and that it's a complete and total failure on your end. And from experience, I can tell you it is not. Even with a successful business, we were turning really good profits. But even as a business that was growing, I had loans taken out to purchase equipment because a CNC machine costs you at least $150,000 for a decent one, all the way up to sometimes $1 million, depending on what you're getting. I had notes on equipment to try and build a business. Had them in a certain place that was a micro lender through like a business startup, and they continued to lend money. They ended up going in and becoming a federally secured loaning facility. And in 2015, thanks to Mr. Obama, the banking systems did not want to loan money to people that were making pew pew parts anymore. So even though I had started shifting my business to doing more than just that, it was only about 50% of my business. And what happened is, and this is something if you do businesses, you'll learn really quick. And that's why I'm very, very cautious about ever doing this again in my life. And this is one of those learning experiences when it comes down to it, is the loan company came forward and pretty much came to my business in their suits, wanted to meet with me. I went into the conference room. I sat down and talked to them. Mind you, I've been out of my job for about a year at that point in time. Came in, wanted to meet in the office, went in the office. We went in the conference room that I had, sat down and talked to us, and they pretty much went, so here's the deal. Because we're federally owned or federally backed now, we need to call all of your loans due because we no longer will lend to anybody that makes firearms or firearms parts. And so you have that difficult decision where, okay, how much time do I have? And they gave me 60 days, 60 days to pretty much pay off my loans for the business. And at that point in time, it was like almost $225,000 in loans for the equipment and stuff that we were running. And we were making payments on it, almost double paying it. But fact of the matter is that I had purchased like 6 pieces of equipment, 7 pieces of equipment that all had different loans on it that was through this company. And this is where the situation, and this is where you talk about risk. And like I said, I don't know if Pokemon Knowledge is going to see this, but when you sit there and talk about leaving your job, taking a risk, losing that safety net of a for sure paycheck, being the best in your field and doing the best at what you do, you could feel, that everything, that dread moment, that, okay, how am I going to handle this and how do you work through these things? And this is something that's important for everybody out there, is that there's always going to be obstructions in life, and trying to make it through it is going to be the key to success. You can fail and you can have issues and still be successful, if that makes any sense. So, got that news, started looking around for lenders, started going around all over the place. And because of that federal mandate, or because of the FDIC's push on that, basically couldn't get a loan anywhere, nowhere. I went through 12, 12 different lending companies, completely destroyed my credit rating because I had 12 different hard looks on my credit, had a successful business, and basically had to claim bankruptcy because I could not pay the loan back. Plain and simple. Couldn't find a lender to do anything, couldn't move forward on it, couldn't get anything done. And so, luckily, I had enough experience that I ended up going back to the company I'd left, talked to them, and they were looking for a machinist for a while. I told them it was temporary because I didn't know what we were doing for sure at that point in time. My kid was just born, which is another factor in there as well, is that I now had at that point, a 4-month-old child. So we had our first kid in that time frame as well. And here I am, no business, just claimed bankruptcy, not because of a failing business, but because you couldn't pay off a loan that they called due in 60 days. And sitting there in a situation where you got to go back to your previous employer. And luckily, they took me back. They let me work for a while. I worked there for about 6 months. And in that 6 months, you really do a real life investment, or a real life sit down and come to Jesus moment. And that's how we ended up moving back to Wisconsin. Is that my wife and I went, you know what, we're too far away from family. We were out in Colorado at that point in time. We'd lived there for 5 years, so in Colorado, and we decided that it was time to move home, move back by family. We had a kid, we had enough stress in life, and when we moved back here, and that's pretty much why I'm back in HVAC. Is number one, I've always enjoyed HVAC. Don't get me wrong; it's always been like my favorite thing to do. Even while I was working as a machinist, I'd always volunteer to fix people's furnaces. It's always been something I enjoyed. I like the one thing about machining is that I enjoyed the puzzle part of it and the finesse and being very accurate about things, and I enjoyed the actual process of doing it has always fascinated me. But I've always liked HVAC because I'm more of a person that likes to move. I always liked moving and changing and going different directions and doing different things. That's what I enjoy doing. And so coming back, talked to dad. Dad still had the HVAC business, but he had slowed it down a lot. I mean, he was down to the point where he was getting ready to retire. Because when I moved back, he was 62 years old and he's already slowing down. My brother was here doing farming and he was kind of working it just for side cash and making money on that side of it too, making enough for a paycheck, and that was about it. And I came back and same thing. I kind of talked to him and kind of said, I'd like to get back in the HVAC. Is it an opportunity? Should I try and work here? Do we want to build this up or should I go work someplace else? Because I said, I got enough credentials. I can go do HVAC for another company. It's not a big deal. And so we sat down, made a decision, looked at the numbers, and decided that we were going to push that. Pretty much, my dad went, here, you take it. It's yours. You want it? Push it. Go. He stayed on as the owner up until about 3 years ago, just because of the bankruptcy. Of course, everybody knows bankruptcy sticks with you for 5 to 7 years. So thus, it's kind of stuck with you at that point in time. So had to let that die off. Once that died off, then we transferred the business over to my brother and I. And so far now we've been running it for 3 years, completely growing, continually growing, pushing, moving. If I could find more employees, I could definitely expand a lot now in this field as well. But once again, I'm still in that position where I don't have a safety net. I really haven't had, I would say, a safety net. I had about 6 months, 7 months of a safety net in there. But honestly, when you sit there and see other individuals talking about going to business on their own, it's definitely a big step. And I haven't had that safety net of a company, someone where I can always fall back on an income. It's always been me for quite a long time, whether it was my own business paying my own bills and making success, or whether it's coming back, taking over the HVAC business and now pushing the HVAC business. Once again, I'm still my own boss. And that's the crux of it is that I do enjoy being my own boss. I enjoy the challenges. I enjoy the things that go into that. And in 2019, my son picked up a pack of Pokemon cards at a Target when we were out shopping one time. I honestly had not given it much thought. I was playing Pokemon Go. That was probably the most bump up that I took in 2016. I started playing Pokemon Go back in 2016 when it first came out. A lot of fun, enjoyed it. Kind of a cool little concept there when it came down to that part. 2016, kind of kept working HVAC business, pushing that. And 2019, we went to Target and he pulled out a pack of Team Up from a Target store, and we opened it and we hit the not the full art, but we did hit the Mimikyu Gengar EX or GX, just the regular, not the more expensive one. That would have been cool, but we did hit that GX card, and trust me, when I hit that GX card, I was absolutely blown away by where Pokemon had gone. Because when I had left, it was level. We didn't even have level X cards. We were at Gold Star cards, and that was like the premier card was a holo. To when I come back in 2019, all of a sudden I'm sitting here with a full art, full shiny card in front of me. That's absolutely crazy. And then you start looking into it and find out how much there had changed and all these different options that there were in Pokemon cards that were unheard of when I left the hobby. And kind of started going from there. Started playing. Unbroken Bonds came out like a month later. So I started playing Unbroken Bonds, built a battle deck, built a Charizard Reshiram battle deck and that, and just kept going from there. Kept pushing up to where you know me from 2020 and the boom. Had a bunch of stuff I was starting to put away because I enjoyed it. Saw value in it. Even before the boom, I saw value in Pokemon. And that's the hardest part, I think, that a lot of people, even now, you sit there and tell people to worry about it in a way because the pricing is way crazy even compared to 2019 and 20, early 2020. But we do know that there is that safety net, that growth opportunities were there, and I saw it then. So before all this stuff went crazy, it definitely was there before that, and I still to this day see opportunities coming all the time. There is growth potential all over in this hobby, and it is strong. It is a very strong hobby, even comparatively to like 2006. When I left, it was really, really, in my opinion, it was almost dead. I didn't think Pokemon when I left in 2006. I honestly don't didn't think that Pokemon would be around for another 5 years. I just didn't see it because the game, the playing side of things was getting so small. The amount of people involved was getting the groups were getting so small. The worlds weren't that big at that point in time. They weren't really growing that big. I mean, there were some people it had a big boom when it first came out and it kind of slowed, and it just wasn't, in my opinion, wasn't growing at a good enough rate to consistently stay for such a young company. I mean, at that point in time, it wasn't even 10 years old when I left, and you were already seeing this big decline in Pokemon TCG. But it persevered, it pushed through, it made it through, it came back out on the other side and started growing and went through. And like I said, I wasn't there. I just go by other people that I've talked to in the hobby, people that I've met. Have really said that Diamond and Pearl were really, really, really slow. And then it started picking up. So as more people started coming back a little bit. So then it kind of grew in the Heart Gold Soul Silver, got a little stronger. Black and White was still to this day, a lot of people consider it the crappiest era in the Pokemon TCG. And then it kind of started moving back up in XY, and XY became a little bit more popular. Had some really good sets right off the bat with that Flash Fire set. You got that Phantom Forces coming in there as well. So there's some really, really strong sets right there at the beginning of the XY era, moving into Roaring Moon or Roaring Skies and XY Evolutions, really, really pushing that era way up. And so coming back in 2019, I started putting stuff away. I started buying Hidden Fates when I could. I started buying all of these sets when they were available, even team up sets and tag team sets and stuff when they were available, and putting them away as investments. They were small investments. I mean, I'm not talking like I was putting, cases away. It was usually a few booster boxes here and there, but it was definitely still stuff I was saving, sitting there going, you want to know something? This is going to be popular. It's doing really well. It looks really strong. It's really good stuff. And I feel that this will be really, really good futuristically. And so started putting that stuff away. And like I said, 2020, like October 2020, I almost sold everything I had except for some of my cards, personal collection stuff. But because of the price of things were just so crazy, and then rebuilt again. And that's the thing is with this hobby, you can rebuild multiple times. Just like going through a bankruptcy for me, there is so many opportunities to just sell down if you wanted to. If I wanted to, I could literally sell everything in this room, sell down to nothing, pay off any kind of debt that I have, probably go buy a vehicle with what I've got around here easily, and probably buy two vehicles. There's enough stuff that I have collected between all my booster boxes and stuff that it'd be easy to go buy two new vehicles and just relax. And then if I wanted to, come back and rebuild. It's still here. There's still the opportunities available. And there's always that opportunity in this hobby. And this hobby is strong enough to do that. And I do feel really, really confident in that. So, like I said, thank you everybody for hanging out with me through that. I just wanted people to know, basically a background story. I think that there's some really good characteristics in a person based on their background story. Pokemon Knowledge, known them on YouTube for years, talked to them for years, and several, even in locations or in the lives and things like that. I've spoken to them through those avenues. Spoke to them for North Carolina for a while, and it's really, really, really good to see the whole background story. What builds the character of these people, this person? What experiences in life have they had that's done good for them and given them a direction on how they can be? So, if anything can come out of out of all this, at least that way you guys have a background for who you're listening to. You have an idea that hey, I'm not perfect. I've been through some pretty low spots in my life, and yet I continue to persevere just because I just don't give up flat out. I just don't believe in giving up. There are so many ways to work around and get things done. There are so many ways to make money and become successful. And this hobby is giving a huge opportunity to that. And I think that a lot of people have said it. I've heard it from several different sites, different locations I've listened to, is that this Pokemon, for the people that are a little bit wise, a little bit smart, and a little bit cautious, can make life-changing money for a lot of individuals. You can make life-changing money in this hobby if you take your time, be patient, and understand why people buy things a little bit. Granted, when we run out of product, it don't make a difference what it is. This hobby has shown time and time again that a shortage in this hobby can create FOMO like nobody's business. Absolutely insane the amount of FOMO that could potentially come out of something simple. So it's going to be really interesting to see when we get product back what's going to happen. I don't feel like there's any chance of a collapse of this market at this point in time, based on the fact that we've already gone through what I would consider the lows, and even the lows were busy. The lows had opportunities. There's been continuous opportunities. There's been continuous growth in this hobby, whether it's in Sword and Shield, whether it's in Scarlet and Violet, whether it's been in Sun and Moon or XY, even if it's going back to WotC stuff. All of it has had opportunities, even every single year, and every single time that you sit there and think, wow, this market can't keep going, it keeps going, and it keeps finding a way. And I think that, number one, the people that are in it are becoming extremely passionate about it, which is fantastic. It gets that oomph to it that we need. And I think in general, everything has opportunity to go. It's just a matter of time more than it is about opportunity. That sometimes the time factor is a harder thing to wrap around, that it's not going to all just go in a week or in a day or in an hour. You're not going to buy it and get it shipped to your house and make money. Now, Pokemon Center ETBs for Prismatic Evolution, my God, I hope I get all four that I have ordered on my account. And I hope to get the 2 that my wife has on her account. So yeah, I'm hoping I get all 6 of them, because I'm going to be selling at least half of them right away. Because almost, what are they, $400, $350 a piece right now? Absolutely crazy. That's just absolutely absurd that a set that has not even been released yet are selling product at $350 to $400 for an ETB. That's not a booster box. That's not like a collection. It's a Pokemon Center ETB. I understand that it's a Pokemon Center ETB, but to me, it's unfathomable to think that there is a Pokemon product right now that nobody has in their hand, nobody has in person at this point in time, that is selling for $350 to $400. It is really insane. So, once again, by jumping on the Pokemon Center, and I guarantee that there's going to be so many of us sitting there on release day, hitting that refresh button, hoping that more of those become available that we can buy. I know I'm taking the day off. I already said it. I'm taking a day off, and I am literally going to sit there on my computer to hope to catch a restock of those ETBs. That's kind of gonna be my day. Is sitting there hitting that refresh button, whether I get it or not. The opportunity cost, once again, of that versus working is going to be more. If I can get even 2 of those, is going to pay more than what I would make on my salary for that day. So that's where we talk about life-changing money is available. Is it always available? No, not always available, but it is available, and there is opportunities to do so. Time can change. Will it happen in a week? Maybe not. Will it happen in a month? Maybe not. Will it happen in a year? Maybe. Will it happen in 2, 3? More than likely. More than likely, you'll be able to make some decent income with a little bit of patience and a little bit of intelligence. So just take your time and understand and look through things. So once again, just want to go through that. I thought that was a really good way that PK did that, going through his career, going through the oil field, all the stuff that he did, North Dakota. Trust me, he's got about the same temperatures we do. We had negative 55 here 2 or 3 years ago, and I was still working outside. So I 100% to get the negative 40 thing. Trust me, it's a thing, and it really doesn't. But we don't have alligators, we don't have poisonous snakes, and we don't have poisonous spiders. So, that's why we live in a place where the air hurts our face. I mean, you just don't have to deal with that stuff. So, yeah, it's just absolutely wild to think where we are right now, the things that are available. If you would have asked me if Scarlet and Violet base set would be selling at $130 to $140 right now on TCG Player, it's in the era of Scarlet and Violet, I would have told you no, because there isn't enough meat in that side of that set. Yeah, that Gardevoir is cool. The Gardevoir line, awesome. Other than that, it's a really, really just a basic set. And to think that it's jumped that much is absolutely crazy and absolutely insane to think of. These sets just keep going. In 2019, sets did not move like this. Back in 1999 to 2006, sets did not move like this. We bought jungle sets 2 years after release for $45, $40 at our local stores. They were trying to get rid of it because it was not selling. And now we sit here and go, well, jungle booster box is 10 grand. 10 to 15 grand for a jungle. And that's just the last time I looked, guys. And that was, I don't even know when. But still, 10 to 15 grand for that. When we used to be, when stores were just trying to get them out of there for like 35, 40 bucks. 2 years after release. 35, 40 bucks. Just get it out of here. I'm tired of it being on the shelf. Just take it. We used to buy them, and I put one away of every one of them at that point in time. That's something I didn't mention. I did put away, even back then, I did enjoy Pokemon, and I did put away one sealed booster box at that time. I did sell them to a friend when I got out in 2006, and to this day, I still talk to him. I know where he's at, and he still has 3 of my booster boxes, and he refuses them to sell them to me. Not very happy with him. If he sees this video, I know he will. I'm watching you. I know where my booster boxes are. I will get them from you. So, yeah, and that's just it. I mean, I always enjoyed Pokemon. I always enjoyed keeping things sealed. I mean, the helmet up here on my corner, the Halo helmet, was in a box up until it got wet. I don't even know how it got wet, but it had water damage on it, and that's the only reason it came out of the box. So literally, when Halo 3 came out, that Halo helmet was in the box up until about 3-4 years ago. It never came out. Even though the game was in it, I never played that game. I bought another game to leave the helmet sealed. That's how ridiculously weird I am about sealed product. I have cans like Pepsi and Mountain Dew cans. I have the original Game Fuel Mountain Dew cans. They made a metal can when Halo 3 came out, and there was 4 different ones. There were a Mountain Dew, the Game Fuel in a metal can, and they sold them for Halo 3, and I have all 4 of them still sealed. Never emptied them, never took the cap off them. They are old. They still have the stupid drink in them. So I am really weird about keeping sealed things in general, so it's just how I am. So it's just an interesting that's why a lot of times I'm able to keep things sealed for a long period of time, is just because I enjoy keeping things sealed. I think it looks good. Personally, I like the EV. I always sit there and look at these gym boxes. I kind of want to open one for it, and I just haven't done it. So, but yeah, anyways, like I said, I just want to go over that. I thought it was a cool concept that PK did that on his first live of the year, and I think it's really good to sometimes go back and reminisce and give people that are in your channel a new outlook, a new look at who you are. That way you can know who you're talking to, who you're talking about, and the history of those individuals, because it really can help you decide whether or not the people that you're talking to have validity to them, or if they are just full of crap. Because let's be honest, sometimes it feels like some people in this hobby just play who they are, and that's all that it is. So, yeah, Pika, let me see if I can do this. There it is, right there next to right there next to the Iron Man Funko Pop. Come on, focus. Okay, so yeah, I did it. Now I'm out of focus. There we go. All right. So yeah, I got the yeah, and that was literally sealed until 3 years ago when it got wet, and I was not very happy that it got wet. Cosplay PokeTubers. There we go, Mason. Hey, hold on one second. I got this. See, this is when you know you're serious, and when you have way too much time with a 3D printer, is when your Halloween costume and some of the magnets fell off. But yeah, I printed my own Master Chief helmet. I'll just start doing my lives like this the whole time. So yeah, no, I've got most of the Mark IV. So I got most of the Mark IV armor done. I just got to paint it and do all the work to it. So I will have a full by next Halloween. I will have a fully done Master Chief Mark IV armor. So really, really excited. I think I'm gonna hang it possibly like right over here, like actually hang the armor on the wall, set it up so it looks like it's sitting there. So yeah, I don't need to make that one into a helmet. I'll just print my own. I got 3D printers, so yeah, that's been a good, interesting part too. Is just the 3D printing side too as well. It's been kind of fun. I've been doing that for the last 2 years now, so it's really fun to have the 3D printers and be able to do those kind of fun things and just kind of expand and have fun. So wait, doesn't Ancient Moo have some? He did it with me. He did the Choose Your Path series with me, and he actually wore his Halo helmet the whole way through the interview. I thought that was awesome. But I think he took that one possibly and modified is what he did. Yeah, because I think he did his first ever like public interview on Choose Your Path here, and yeah, he wore his Halo helmet the whole way through it. Yeah, it was pretty cool. So, all right, guys. Well, like I said, I plan on going a little bit late tonight just because I knew I wanted to go through that. I definitely think that it's good to get that out there sometimes and do a refresher every once in a while. You know, I've talked about adversity. I've talked about my past, and I've never really hidden it. Like I said, you know, everybody has that stigma around the word bankruptcy, and it is what it is. I mean, it wasn't like I had an option. It's not like I had $200,000+ laying around in order to pay a debt come due immediately within 60 days. So I can't even run the machines fast enough to make up that money. So it is what it is. I mean, life is funny. You know, like I said, listening to Pokemon Knowledge, I really do understand where he was at, you know, especially where he's at right now. And I'm sure Mason was at that same point too, where you sit there and you are literally weighing 100 ways to Tuesday on, and you're almost trying to find a reason on why not to do it. You know, at some point. And when it got to that point for me, when it got to the point where I was trying to really, really, really dig deep to try and find a reason not to go on my own and start my own business and do it on my own, is when I finally just said, you want to know something? This is stupid. If I have to literally come up with the dumbest excuses on earth to not go on my own, it's probably pretty secure to do that business. Now, that was the one thing that I would have never seen. I'm going to be 100% honest. When it came down to the machining business, it's definitely not the one. It's not the one thing that I saw coming was the lending company screwing me was not on my bingo card for my business. So definitely something interesting. But yeah, like I said, anyways, when it comes down to things too, um, yeah, it's just craziness. It's the hobby in general is still very, very strong. Everything is going to be absolutely crazy here coming up. Um, and once again, it's just strong. I mean, I don't know about you, Mason, but I feel like the hobby is still extremely strong right now, and I'm not seeing anything that's going to say any differently. I feel like we could take a really big reprint right now, and I think that this hobby would just chew it up at this point in time. There are enough new people still showing up. It's amazing to me that even now, on a daily basis, I meet someone who's new to this hobby. I am absolutely it's absolutely insane to see the growth that we are still continuing to see. And as long as we can continue to do that, we will continue to be successful in this hobby. And I feel that there's a lot of safety in this hobby at this point in time. So, all right, what do we have here? I'm gonna go back a couple. I know I missed a couple questions. I know a lot of them I was watching. You guys were talking about things, and I tried to incorporate it in what I was at the beginning here. Oh shoot, I missed the first. Yeah, you did, Blitzkrieg. Thank you so much for joining as well. iPhone or Pika Pika, thank you so much for being in here. Pokemart, TCG, thank you for joining. Richard, thank you for being here as well. Mason Berry, of course, glad to have you in the chat as always. Eric Thompson, thank you so much for being in here. Pokey Slam, thank you for being in here as well. And I think I got green emoji dude, thank you so much as well. Oh, one goal that I didn't put on here that I am trying to shoot for this year, and I want to see, this is kind of my goal, it's kind of a goofy one, is that I want to see if I can get enough channel memberships to where I can buy a cup of coffee every day of the month. That's just my goal. So I need 30 channel members, and then I could get my free cup of coffee every single day of the month. That's my goal. 31 if you want to get technical. I think I get away with 30. So, let's see. Goofy goals. It's just fun. Sometimes it's fun to try something different. So we're gonna go back up here. So I was around iFOMO's Rockets. I can't wait to start hunting. What's up, Andy? Welcome, Northwoods Campground Gang. Welcome on in. Thank you so much for joining. Yeah, everybody running around buying everything up is great. Yeah, I mean they're eating everything right now. I mean even things that have been sitting there forever. Even those Paldea Adventure chests have now disappeared out of my Walmart. They've sat there for like a year, and now they're finally all gone. So they are literally eating everything up. Everything is going out the door. The only thing that's not moving is Shrouded Fable. I can go get Shrouded Fable at all of my stores. 3-pack blisters, ETBs, 6-pack bundles. They're all just sitting hanging on the shelf. Nobody wants Shrouded Fable around here. Absolutely, Andy. You can make life-changing money in Pokemon as has a huge potential that everyone can do exactly the others are doing. Yep, it is. You can rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, for sure. Let's see here. Richard says here, I thought it was wild when a regular ETBs started selling pre-sale at $75. Talk about an insane run in absolutely short amount of time. Richard, it's gonna get worse. I can tell you that right now. It's gonna get worse. So it's absolutely gonna go in the pricing of this set is going to be stupid. So if you can buy it at MSRP right now, I would not hesitate. I can tell you, even myself, I am going to be searching every Walmart, every store I go to try and grab some of these ETBs. There might be fistfights at Walmarts in order to get these ETBs. I'm not going to be involved. It ain't worth that to me. But I could see people freaking fistfighting for these ETBs because they're going to be $100 plus when these things hit the ground. Let's see here. I have been preaching patience and waiting for the right opportunities to open up. And I jump on them without any second guessing myself on any play. It's all about the knowledge I have gained. Exactly. And that's exactly what we talk about a lot of times. Is just learning that knowledge in understanding the hobby, understanding what people will want, and jumping in at the right time. Sometimes it feels like it's a rush. Sometimes it feels like everything is flying by and that you're missing out on a bunch of things. And that FOMO kicks in. You're afraid you're going to miss out, and you're trying to get in on the Pokemon investments. You're trying to get on those Pokemon products as fast as you can because you're afraid you're going to miss out. And realistically, a lot of times, as you've seen time and time again, even Sword and Shield products and everything else, it's a reciprocating cycle, right? Especially when they're in rotation. If they're still in rotation, it'll go up in price, and then it'll get reprint, and it drops in price, and you can buy. It goes up in price, and then something changes. It goes down in price. You got these little reciprocating cycles, and then eventually it starts climbing in them cycles, but they're definitely there when it comes down to that. So let's see here. We got let's create the power of the bots. Yeah. No, the sealed helmet. I know. I was very, very sad when that thing got wet. When it was wet, I was like, you gotta be kidding. If you make a mistake, do not let it stop your progress. Pick up your broken pieces, put the puzzle back together again, rebuild, rebound, and stay the course, no matter what. Exactly. And sometimes it's hard. I 100% get it that it is extremely hard sometimes to pick yourself up and get going because you just feel like you're failed. But realistically, the only time you really fail in life in general is when you stop. If you can pick yourself up, get going again, no matter how hard circumstances are, there is a way. And it just depends on whether or not you can dust yourself off and push through it and find that way again. And if you can, you'll be successful. And that's why we even talk about even in Pokemon. Use expendable money. If you fail in something in Pokemon and it's an expendable money, the worst case scenario is that you get to open packs and enjoy the hobby. The best case scenario is that you learn from it and you make a new adjustment for the next time you use your expendable money to do something else. Start out with expendable money, build on expendable money. Once you start building expendable money and you start getting that momentum moving forward where you're able to understand when to buy, when to sell, and keep taking them short gains and just keep rolling them and rolling them and rolling them. If you start doing that, you will be successful. It's just sometimes some things may take longer. In this hobby, it has been everything goes up in value. It's just patience to wait for it to happen. People freak out because my booster box didn't gain 20% in the last year. So what? Year 2, year 3, it gained 70 to 100%. It just took time for that maturity to happen. We see that in stocks. You see that on property. You see that in all kinds of investments. You buy into a new business idea or a new product opportunity. It may not do anything for a year or two, but 3, 4, 5, 6, it explodes. And that's where you're going to make it up. Some products take off right off the gate. You know they're going to. Prismatic Evolutions, we know that set's going to be just out of the gate horse run. And we know that probably Team Rocket is going to follow suit. We know that set's going to do that. So with that being the case, that is exactly what you got to keep mentally and learn from that. That sometimes there is a rush to get in on it, but then just wait. Sit on it. Hold. There isn't that big rush that you're sometimes expecting there to be. Pika Pika is the helmet on top shelf. Yep, I showed you that. Cosplay YouTubers. There we go. We should just do, all of us should do cosplay for YouTubing. That from now on, it'd just make it a lot more fun. Let's. I've been looking for Dr. Pepper G squared on the H3 days. Yeah. Did they do anything like that? I never saw one for Dr. Pepper. No Mountain Dew did, because then they did the Game Fuel. The Mountain Dew Game Fuel was for Halo 3. Richard, that's sick. That's awesome. That's awesome prop. It's like a short stormtrooper. Let's create. I can't wait till they remake Halo show. Yeah, hopefully they do it better than the first one. Pika Pika, wait, doesn't Ancient Mew? Yep, we went through that. Pokemon TCG, very nice Halo Master Chief helmet. I love the game on Xbox 360. I still play with my kids. Halo Reach is by far the best. My kid and I absolutely just crush Halo 3 and Halo Reach. To this day, I would rather pay Halo Reach than Halo 4, 5, Halo Reach or Halo 3 over 4, 5, and 6. Infinite, whatever it is, Halo Infinite. Halo Infinite's all right. It's all right, but it's not the shit. Halo Reach is the GOAT by far. Halo 3 is definitely right there in the GOAT range as well. I will play Halo Reach any day of the week. Blitzkrieg, I burnt through some controllers on Xbox grinding in that game. Oh god, yes. Hey, Pokey Slam, how you doing? Sorry if I missed it, but what's the latest with the PE allocations? So I'm gonna be putting up a post on Discord. But just to give you an update on allocations right now, I'm waiting for one more. I'm trying to figure this all out because I've had enough to cover everybody's orders, and right now I have 4 ETBs coming. Not 4 cases, 4. That's how bad I got cut right at the end. So I've got one more left. I'm hoping that they find out what I get out of it. Is where I'm at. I don't even have enough for my own business. That's how bad this is. So I was gonna put it up on Discord because I just found that out because I was asking Mason today where he was at on allocations because I wanted to get a feel for him as well. So right now I was gonna put it up on Discord, but basically I'm going to probably sit there and refund everybody's money that comes back. They were one of the distributors refunded my money. It's on its way. It'll be here in 24 hours. The other one I have not heard from, and I have not got a shipping confirmation at this point in time. So I've got 4 from one of my side sources. It wasn't even a distro. It was another side place that the game's mothership. So that one managed to pull out 4 ETBs for me. Southern Hobby dumped me. They didn't give me any. So they pulled the last 75 that I was getting from them. They pulled the allocation on that and sent back my money. I'm waiting for ACD is the last one that I'm waiting for. I contacted the sales rep and he has not called me back yet, but I have not gotten a shipping manifest from them either yet. So I don't know. That one I'm trying to find out where we're at to find out where we're going to be. So that's what I'm saying. I think the price of this is going to go absolutely stupid because the allocations are completely gone. The reprints community and some of these bigger places just ate it. and took it all. So I don't know where it's going to go or what the prices are going to look like, but it could be absolutely crazy. So that's where we're at right now. I'm waiting for the last one to come through for ACD to find out where we're at for numbers. And then we'll have to go find out what that number is. Go to Discord and we will do a chat real quick and we will find out, we'll look at what we have for numbers. And then if I do get some allocation from there, if I don't get any from my own allocation, it is what it is. I'd rather send it out to you guys. It's fine. I mean, I'll get some from Walmart and from my local LCS and stuff like that. I've already done that, and then we'll go from there. I've been charged for my GameStop pre-order, 30 ETBs and 10 poster collections. Yeah, and see, I think I got some of the poster collections coming, and so yeah, that we'll be seeing here. So I'm waiting for ACD. Honestly, I'm waiting for them to come back and see where we're at. I'm hoping I get a shipping manifest and I'll at least get most of the order for that's out there from them. But yeah, I had 150 ETBs on each one of them, and Southern Hobby completely cut me down to 75, and now they completely cut me out. So not real impressed with distribution right now when it comes down to products. But let's see, we got just so like I said, I just want everybody to know what's going on. Like I said, I was just found out and I've been waiting for ACD to give you guys full information here. So Eric Thompson just jumped in the video. How's it going? It's going really good. Blitzkrieg, yeah, it's yeah, it'll be absorbed in an instant, like how 151 is doing. Yeah, it just keeps getting eaten. It just disappears. Yeah, I had actually a pre-order in a GameStop and they canceled mine as well. So I'm glad that Hideous got one. That's awesome. You got your 30 ETBs because I had 10 through them just as a backup, and they got canceled as well. I just got the notification today that GameStop canceled mine. So yeah, I'm literally getting none. I'm gonna have to go and maybe fist fight at Walmart for my own for even being able to do rip and ships. It's stupid. Your thoughts on Blooming Waters, please. I think it's gonna be really good. Once again, it's gonna be a 151 product. I think it's people are already freaking killing each other for the early releases of it. To me, it's just a 151 product. I don't know if I would actually go and purchase it as a investment. It's a huge box, huge amount of packs inside of it. It's just part of that Pokemon 151 reprint. So it'll be interesting to see if it hits like the Sea and Sky box. Because if it hits like that, that box might be very valuable. If it hits like the Sea and Sky box does for Crown Zenith, definitely could be a very good box to have. So, all right. Pokemon TCG handy. I had a little more free time as my dad passed away on 12, 26, and 24. Me and my brother are down in Florida setting on my dad's estate. I'm sorry for your loss, Pokemon TCG. Your prayers for you and your family. Yeah, I don't want to go through that, but my dad's got some health issues too, and we're kind of getting concerned. So definitely thoughts and prayers to you and your family on that. And I am sorry for your loss. Grimdeath, thank you so much for dropping in. I never understood why people need the new cards on release day. We have the data. They will print this set into oblivion. Just be patient. I think so too. I honestly think even the ETBs. That's where I'm kind of trying to get a hold of ADC and find out if they're planning on multiple ETB reprints. Like, are we going to be seeing these every time that they release the next wave of products? Because then we might have an opportunity. But my worry is streamers are going to eat this up, just like Terrasoul Festival. I think it's going to be absolutely insane by how much product gets pushed out. Pokemon TCG Dollar Generals in Florida have been restocking the Mystery Powers tins for $12. They have Evo packs and Brilliant and Fusion. Wow, I might have to check them out. I did see that there were new tins in there, but the last two times I bought tins, those Evo, the mysterious power tins, they were like Scarlet and Violet products, so I really didn't even pay attention to them. So definitely interesting to see that they're back with Evo packs and Brilliant Fusion. So That's an awesome pickup for $12 for sure. Snowgoon, how do you know when pre-orders for the new sets are live on Pokemon Center website? Is there a set date or for them? Basically, pre-orders will always come live. I think it's at 6 a.m. Eastern time, I believe. So for me, I need to be on there at like 5 a.m. in order to catch them. So they always put them up first thing in the morning. So if you get on there, for me, it's like 5 a.m. So I believe it's 6 a.m. Eastern time. If you're on there, then and you refresh right around that time frame, then the pre-orders come up. You really don't know sometimes the day. So but sometimes down the chains you can hear when people seem, I don't know how they know, but a lot of times people know the dates that they're going to be released. So yeah, but usually if you check every morning, if you get up in the morning at like 5 a.m. and hit the refresh button, then you'll catch them at 5 a.m. my time. I think it's 6 a.m. Eastern time is when they restock or when they go live with their products. So if it's going to happen and if there is a pre-order, it's going to happen at like 5 a.m. Central Time or 6 a.m. Eastern Time. I downloaded the Shiny app. I downloaded the Shiny app from the Play Store on my Android phone, and I have been adding my collection to the app. I watch my seal collection keeps exploding as I track my collection. Best app I know. That would be a good app. I might have to check that one out because I just use Pokédata for mine, but that's on a computer. They don't have an app at this point in time. So yeah, it's definitely a thing for finding a good app that can do that, especially sealed product. I mean, there's plenty of apps out there that do really well at tracking like your collection, like Pokemon or Pokédex or Pokemon Collector apps are both really really good for just your seal or for your raw collection. But finding one that can actually track your sealed as an app is pretty impressive. So I might have to check that out as well because it would be nice to be able to check uh, to do that. Hideous. I've been charged for my GameStop pre-orders 30 ETBs for 10. So let me look real quick. So my order got canceled. I never did look at my wife's because we split it. She did 10, I did 10. Um, so I'm just looking here real quick. So I wasn't charged on my card. Give me one second. I can pull up my wife's GameStop account on my phone. All right, let's see. Did my wife get her 10? I never did look at her account, but I know I got mine saying it was it canceled my 10. So let me see. Log in. All right. Oh, my cards got graded too. So GameStop, my cards are on their way back. I haven't looked at the grades yet. I'm dying to know, but I haven't looked yet. So kind of interesting to see how that did. Oh, okay. So I just got in my wife's account. She did get the 10. So I will have 10 at GameStop pricing. So it looks like the 10. So I got 10 for her account, but I did not get my 10 on my account. So, because I thought I was getting from distributor. So I just got a 10 backup just in case we're opening, but should have gone more. So she did get hers. So yeah, we'll be getting 10 boxes of prismatic evolutions at least. Ugh, this set drives me crazy. It's gonna suck because one time you get an opportunity to actually make some decent profit on a set right off the gate, you're not gonna send any out. Blitzkrieg, my condolences on your loss, bud. GameStop canceled my prismatic. I took it as a sign. I'll skip it. Yeah, they canceled mine and not my wife's. So my wife, I'm looking here, got charged. So yeah, she got charged for her. So we're good. We've got 10, 14. I got 4 from the other one. Ugh. Crazy, crazy that they canceled one and not the other because we both ordered them at the same time. Pokemon Center. I got my 10 charged today from GameStop, so congratulations on that. Apparently, it's hit or miss on that part. Blitzkrieg. I'm gonna hit up 5 stores, all right next to each other: Target, Best Buy, Barnes and Nobles, Walmart, and mom and pop store in the small town I know. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely. So I'm gonna call up the distributor, the guy who stocks the shelves, and find out when he's coming and how much he's got, if he has any, because I am definitely going to be raiding the stores as soon as it comes out. Hopefully, the sports card guys go right to the sports cards, and I'll just get my prismatic evolutions, and we'll be good. So yeah, it'll be kind of interesting to see how that plays out too, because I know my guy likes to not show up the release week. That's awfully nice of him. So my MJ Holding distributor likes to not show up, and when he doesn't show up, then you know you got to wait until the following week and hopefully catch him then. He seems to be late. He doesn't want people. He's made it clear he doesn't want to fight with anybody. So if he feels like the opening release is going to be a fight, he won't show up for it. He'll come the following week. He'll intentionally skip the release day, which drives me absolutely crazy when he does it. Poke exclusives. I saw some Terrapogus EX boxes earlier today, but didn't pick them up. Do you think this product will be scarce like the Pokemon 151? I think it will be. Just I think it's gonna be. It seems like most of them they do a one and done type of print. So I mean, even the Charizard. I mean, yeah, they did that reprint right off the bat, but they never went back and reprinted it after the release date. So they did that first wave and then that second wave, but it actually all released at one time, and they never really went back and reprinted it. They did a recent. Do you call it a reprint if they do one pre-order and then do another pre-order a month later, or do you call that just more allocation? I don't know what you call that. So the Charizard UPC was a really interesting one when it came down to how they did that, because they did that initial pre-order where everybody got excited and it like was gone and they were selling for $180 right away. And then what was it, a month before or like 3 weeks before the release, they did another like gigantic pre-order. Everybody did another pre-order then. So it was interesting how they did that Charizard one. But realistically, after the release date, they didn't go back and reprint it. So yeah, I think it could be a decent product. Once again, it seems like they stay a little bit more exclusive with them UPCs, and then of course now the Scarlet Violet Pokemon Center ETBs are also seem to be more exclusive and less print. Um, Pokemon TCG, handy. It's been a hell of a 2024. I lost my mom in February, and then my dad at the end of the year. Starting the new year off, just keeping my head up. That's all you can do, bud. I'm condolences, man. I don't know what I would do if I lost both my parents. Being honest, that would be really really rough because I literally talk to my dad every single day, and my mom every single day. So I don't know what I would do with myself if I lost both my parents. Just 100% honest. So I have full condolences for you, and that's all that I would do too. Is just keep my head up and keep moving. Blitzkrieg, hey Nufo, a lot of people missing out on those boxes, especially when they were $80 to $90, a special price because no one was buying for 18 packs and promos. A beautiful thing, like we said, only goes up. Yep, and I think there's some really good value in those ones for sure. Dollar General has new slacking tins, $15. The packs are Paradox Obsidian, Scarlet Violet base set. They're also getting the Blissey, Gardevoir, Salamence, Dragonite tins too. Yes, I've seen those too, and they're both of the Blissey, Gardevoir, Salamence, and Dragonite tins all have Scarlet and Violet in them as well, the new ones. So they've just keep printing the same tins with just the newer packs in it. So Weedle OG Weedle Farm, let the hunt begin. Yep, we're all revved up right now, getting ready to rock and roll. The Shiny app is awesome. You can track sealed and raw English and Japanese. That's freaking phenomenal. Sports guys are switching to Pokemon. They are, and that's just it. I mean, we're absolutely going to be fighting this like crazy. The sports guys are absolutely hyped up about prismatic evolutions, probably almost as much as the Pokemon guys at this point in time. Walter, thank you for joining in. I'm going to take this as the last question, guys. It's been an hour and a half, so we're going to probably call it quits here for the evening. Appreciate it for everybody that's joined in. Once again, consider hitting that subscribe if you have not already. Also, hit that like button; it helps out a ton. And also consider channel subscription. Like I said, my goal for 2025 is to try and get 30 channel subscribers. That way, I don't have to buy coffee this summer or this year. That'd be a little nice little way to look at it. Is that if you join the membership, you are literally buying me a coffee for Calling me a cup of coffee for the month. Walter, wondering if you have any thoughts on the Team Rockets or Team Rocket returns. Could see some growth when the hype around Rocket sets starts to take off, and it definitely is a really interesting premise. And we've talked about that with the X cards because we saw kind of the same effect when EX cards came back. A lot of us had talked about in Sword and Shield when we found out that EX cards were coming back. We were talking about going back and purchasing some of those EX cards as they get popularity and as some of the popular Pokemon got views. We've seen increase in value in the EX cards as well, the lowercase and the uppercase EX cards. So there's definitely a opportunity potential on the growth of those particular sets as well. The one thing you're going to find though on a lot of them sets is that they are the chase cards or the good cards are rather expensive for good quality ones. Especially Team Rocket Returns is definitely one of those sets that's got a little bit of a price tag to some of the decent cards inside of that set. Of course, Team Rocket. I don't know if you're going to see a lot of gain in the commons and the uncommons, but definitely the hollows. We could definitely see a big gain on those as well. The one caution or caveat I would say is that just because it's Team Rocket, if it's not full arts or alternate arts, they may not have as much of an appeal to the newer generation, which is why we saw more of a movement in the EX cards from like XY evolution than we did going back to like the Pokemon or from EX, the original lowercase EX from back in 2005 and 6. So it's really going to depend. I mean, it's really going to depend on what's on the cards. Full arts definitely seem to have more value gain than what we've seen in the just regular hollow version of EXs from back in the day. So it's definitely something to be considering as well. So I don't know. I don't know if we'll see a huge jump in them just because of the fact that both of the Team Rocket sets are back in hollow era. While in the EX, we saw a jump in the XY evolution EXs, but we didn't really see a huge gain on the other ones. So yeah, it'll be kind of. I think it's going to be hit or miss on that. It could cause some, but I don't know if we're going to see gigantic gains on that vintage stuff. Just because number one, the cost is already pretty high on the chases in those, and number two, because it's not full arts and it's not alternate arts, it's not as flashy of the cards like they're used to seeing in the modern stuff. OG Weedle Farm sports guys are foaming out their mouth. Oh, they are, and I do know that my friend at ADC or ACD made it very, very clear that literally if they want it, they're getting it. They have way too much money to not give it to them. So basically, they're telling all of us small Pokemon people, which is frustrating, that yeah, you've supported us for a year, or I've been there for now about a year with the distributor. You've been supporting us for a year, so get bent. I mean, and that's in layman's terms, that's what they've pretty much told us. So it really, really sucks. But it kind of puts in the realization that when it comes down to purchasing or distribution, that unless you're willing to put down $100,000 a month into products, they are not going to cater to you. You will always be second rate to that. Yeah, shiny app I've been using. Verizon, welcome on in. I guess I got lucky stacking tons of Fusion Strike. Evolving Skies was unaffordable, so just took a gamble. Yes, Fusion Strike was definitely a great buy too. And I said I said from the beginning that we should be buying Fusion Strike. All the Sword and Shield sets, anything that was alternate art sets, I've pushed for a long time that there was a lot of potential inside them. Now the early stuff, I don't know. I mean, we've seen kind of a stagnation on everything that was like Battle Styles on back has been really, really slow. Battle Styles, I still feel like has a chance to get a little bit of an oomph with the alternate arts that are inside of it. That eventually people are chasing alternate arts. They like the other sets, but they get more expensive. That I feel that it could take a little bit of a bump as well. So yeah, we're gonna have to wait and see if Battle Styles will follow suit as well with that alternate arts. If the Tyranitar and the Empoleon is strong enough to carry that set. The Urshifus, I definitely don't think are. They're not going to be, at least not in the near future, they're not going to be a chase for anybody when it comes down to alternate art chasing or fan favorite Pokemon chasing. But the T-Tar is definitely a fan favorite. It has an opportunity to get some growth on that as well. It's been doing well. So there's definitely the opportunity on that set as well. But yeah, Fusion Strike, definitely a great buy. And it's definitely got some good opportunities in it. And once again, is it still a good buy now? And then we talk about that. And I know, some people would say no. A lot of investors would say no. But if you actually are saying no, why are you holding it? Real good question. All these guys in investment, I see saying, well, don't buy it now, it's too high. Don't buy it now because it's too high. Then why are you holding on to it? If you don't think it's going to have any more value and it's not going to gain value, why aren't you selling out? Why aren't you dumping it? You should be dumping it, right? If you truly feel like this booster box, if this product, so if I truly feel like this booster or this box of Obsidian Flames will never have value again, and that it's topped out at $400, why would I hold on to it? As an investor, I would not hold on to this. That would be dumb. That's called dead money. You don't want dead money in investment. So anybody that's not selling their Fusion Strike but saying it's stupid to invest into it is either dumb or they're giving you a line of shit. And I don't know why. I mean, I'm holding on to my Fusion Strike. I still think that there's going to be growth. I don't think it's stopped yet. I think that there's a chance that we could see $500 Fusion Strike by mid next year. I definitely think so. I think we could see $500 Obsidian Flame by the end of next year. I think that we could see Chilling Reign start to come up again and be about 350, 400. If I didn't, I wouldn't hold it any longer. As an investment, it's a pointless investment if you don't think it's going to gain money. So, something to really consider. If someone's sitting there telling you not to buy something because it's a bad investment, but yet they're not selling, it's very, very odd. I wouldn't do it. If I didn't think something was going to gain, I wouldn't be sitting there holding on to it. What's the point? Putting dead money on the shelf is not a good investment. You need your investment to move, or might as well put it into an investment that's going to gain. Why sit on Fusion Strike when you could go ahead and roll it over and go buy Brilliant Stars right now for around $200 a booster box? Brilliant Stars is got some catching up to do. So if you thought Fusion Strike was done, why not go buy the next set? Why sit on it for years and not make any money? So yeah, I think that all these Sword and Shield sets still have a lot of growth to go, and I think that they're going to be very competitive here coming forward. There's a lot of people that want Sword and Shield. Sword and Shield is still a very popular generation in general, and I feel that it has a lot of opportunity for growth here in the future. So I still think that it's not a bad pickup. Granted, you're probably not going to see that explosive, 150%, or it's going to double in price in the next month or 6 weeks, but you're definitely going to see consistent growth on it. Year over year. Let's just be clear. Year over year, you're going to still see consistent growth rate in it right now. Let's see. Blitzkrieg. I've seen so much sports stuff out in the stores, all full, but no Pokemon. I know sports cards is everywhere. Pokemon TCG, the restock at Walmart and Targets have been extremely weak. Not a lot of products stocked, but quickly getting gobbled up, leaving the shelves in shambles. Yeah, and that's exactly what we're seeing here as well. Walter, he says, I'm finding good deals on stamp cards from Team Rocket Returns, raw copies, limited print. If nothing else, really cool card. They are. I mean, I wouldn't mind holding on to them by any means. Hideous. I thought I was an investor, but I'm definitely a collector. I have 6-figure inventory, not willing to sell just because I enjoy having it. Well, that's just it. I mean, if you're a collector, it's a whole other thing. If you want to hold a collection of sealed product, you're really not watching the price of it, right? And you're not really making decisions on whether or not it's going to gain value or not. If you're truly investing into it, and you can do both. I mean, you can put everything on the side, and you can put everything away and hold on to it forever and call it a collection that you're hoping will have value in the future. But if you're truly investing, you are watching the market and you're making decisions on what products will give you the best bang for your buck. If you don't think Fusion Strike is going to perform and you've maxed out your performance on it, it's just like any stock or anything that you purchase. If you think that stock is maxed out and it's not going to gain any value, why would you hold on to dead money? It makes no sense as an investment. You don't sit on dead money. Dead money on an investment is loss. You're losing money if you're not making money. So to sit on Fusion Strike and sit there and tell people it's a bad investment at this point in time because it's $350 to $400 a booster box, because the investment's done and it's not investable anymore. Why are you not selling? I should be able to go to your TCG player. I should be able to go to your eBay account. I should be able to see you probably selling this at some place for that $400, or you're just telling people not to buy in, and you're sitting on dead money, which is no longer an investment. So, yeah, it's an interesting conundrum sometimes in Pokemon, especially when you enjoy something. Horizon, I stacked up Fusion Strike because I like Espeon and Gengar and its cool colors, not financial advice. No, and that's what you like, then that's great. I mean, and it actually been a great collection at that point in time. So your collection is gaining a lot of value. Pokemart, absolutely, Andy. Sword and Shield has a lot of growth potential for those willing to continue to hold it. It does. I think it's going to do really well. I think next year we're going to see another 20 to 30% gain on all the Sword and Shield products. I think it's going to continue to grow in value. All of it. I think all the Sword and Shield products. I shouldn't say all of it. I think everything from battle styles forward has the potential to see some really good growth. The other stuff I still think will have some growth. It's just not going to be as much as those take teams. Yeah, take teams. That's the alternate art sets at the end. All right, this is going to be the last one. Blitzkrieg, you're going to get the last one for the night. It says, Fusion is done. People, sell me your Fusion. Exactly, I'll buy it. Sell it to me now. I opened a booster box of Brilliant Stars last night. It was a bad idea, but fun. Yeah, that's all it counts, green emoji, dude. For sure. So, all right, guys. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us tonight. Once again, make sure you guys hit that like button before you leave. Greatly appreciated. As always, consider the channel membership. Support my coffee habit for the month. And keep me running here in the cold weather. Otherwise, thank you, everybody, for joining in. You got my goals, my history. So if you're just coming in now, go ahead and watch this again. And I go through a whole list of things about me. So that way you guys know. And also what I think about the goals and things going into the future. So thank you guys, everybody. Once again, thanks for hanging with me here this evening. We're gone way past the hour mark, which is great. I knew that was going to happen. So thank you, everybody, for joining. Once again, always a pleasure to have you guys. We'll be seeing you, like I said, 52 times this year for sure. And other than that, hopefully you guys have a fantastic rest of your week. And we will be having a video here at the end of the week as well. So make sure you guys check that out and support the channel with that. I might be touching base with Alex and Nostalgianomics just to roll some stuff over, put into other products. I see he is buying packs that okay, yeah, and I know he's put that offer out there too. So I know Alex is pretty good at buying sealed just because he does the streams and stuff like that. So he's always looking for product for them streams. So definitely a great potential there as well. I might be looking at doing that as well here in the near future. It just depends on where TikTok goes. So I was actually considering doing that, and I kind of held off because I don't know where TikTok's going, and until I know where I'm going to land. I really don't want to get too in depth with that. So otherwise, guys, thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us this evening. Greatly appreciated, as always. We hope to see you next Tuesday, 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. Central Time here